I just want to follow up on this interaction with the Russians. I mean, does this in any way lay any groundwork for discussions about the war in Ukraine with the Ukrainians? I mean, just to sort of say, look, we've cooperated on this. Is there any path that this creates any sort of goodwill in terms of, creating more discussion?
We do not see a link between the hostage negotiation or the detained persons negotiations and any potential diplomacy over the war in Ukraine. We see those as operating on separate tracks. One is really about the practical issue of producing this exchange. The other is a much more complex question where the Ukrainians will be in the lead and the United States will consult closely with all of our allies to support them when they are prepared to step forward and engage in those in that kind of diplomacy.
So can I just follow up on, so we can't have you here and not ask you about what's happening and unfolding in the Middle East and with Iran and with this, the killing of Haniyeh. Can you please just give us your assessment of how high the temperature really is and how great the risks are now of an all-out war or a bigger war?
Just taking a step back, we have been laser focused on trying to prevent that wider war since October 7th. There have been moments that have required intensive effort to keep a lid on things. The risk has always been there, and the risk remains today. And we believe we do have to be engaging in intensive efforts now through deterrence, through de-escalation, through diplomacy, to prevent a wider war, and we will continue to do that.
Yeah. And one more thing on Iran, Israel-Hamas negotiations. Now that the lead Hamas negotiator is dead, who is there to negotiate with, and why, in your estimation, would Hamas continue towards negotiating a ceasefire deal when their lead negotiator was just killed by the people they're negotiating with?
It is too soon to tell what the impact of his death will have on the negotiations, and so I'm not going to speculate on that, especially in light of the broader dynamics and set of events unfolding in the region right now. What I will say is this: the ceasefire and hostage deal is the pathway to ending this war. It is the pathway to getting all of the hostages home, including the American citizen hostages who are relentlessly focused on getting home, and we remain determined to get it done. Yeah.
Did the president have a call today with Prime Minister Netanyahu, or is he having one?
I believe the Israeli government has put out that they're having a call. We had not announced that yet, but in fact, the president is intending to speak with Prime Minister Netanyahu later today. They have not spoken yet. Yeah.
And is the president going to express any displeasure about not having a heads up about the attack on the Hamas leader, or these other big things that have happened in the last few days with Israel taking countermeasures?
So I'm not going to preview the president's message before he has a chance to speak directly to the prime minister, and then if I had to predict, I probably will be tight-lipped about the readout afterwards.